Okay guys, so I'm back in the shop, and basically I just want to do, a while back I said that I had a few more tools that I had to unbox, and I had to upgrade my lighting after upgrading the, basically the putting in shop ventilation or filtration. So I'm really behind on my reveal, so things are going to come probably kind of stacked. So don't want you to think that all of these things happened at once. They did happen over time, but they're going to be revealed in succession. So without further ado, one of the things that I had purchased that I wanted to reveal here on my channel is, you've already seen my MFT table. So I'll just go ahead and pan around to that real quick. So this is my MFT table, 4 foot by 8 foot, as you can see there. And it's a mess underneath, but there's lots of storage under there. I need to clean that out. Anyway, so I built an outfeed table for my MFT so that the pieces wouldn't fall off on the floor when they were over to the far right edge. That table is here. So if you see, it's nothing major. These boards are not even bolted down. They're just kind of sitting in place. But if you see, there's my MFT there over that way. And then I just built a basic structure to be an outfeed for my table. This way my pieces don't fall on the floor. But that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is what I have on top of my MFT, which is a new Festool MFT 3 table that I was talking about purchasing. I don't know if you saw one of my videos about my my actual MFT that I built, and I said in this area here I was going to put an MFT 3 if I got it. Here it is. It's not going to remain in this orientation, obviously, because that's not functional and usable. What I am going to do is I'm actually going to cut this down, and this MFT 3 is going to end up being the top, right? And obviously it's going to turn, and it's going to be more, let's see if I can move this down a bit out of the way. So it's actually going to fit like this. So I'm going to make this work surface and this work surface on an even plane. And then what that's going to give me the ability to do is, if I want to cut here, I can cut. And this surface here is going to be the off feed. And then if I want to take this station, as you can see, the off cut is very short as well. I can actually move this whole table, because it's on casters down here. I'll move it all the way down to this side and slide the table down this way. And that way I can cut on both sides. So now, you know, I have a cutting station here in the middle of my MFT. I have a cutting station over here on the far right side, and then I have this separate mobile MFT 3 station, which does give me the protractor ability. The main reason why I did purchase this table is because it has the lift up functionality to be able to put pieces of wood and lumber in there quickly to work. So it's got the aluminum fence that can be placed in 2 different positions. It can be flat like this, or it can stand up. You've got your stop here, protractor functionality, as I said. Over here I have the Festool clamps, and they actually can go in these channels here to actually attach work pieces to the side. This table, it actually has legs that fold out. This is the adjustable foot, so that if I did want to take it outside or put it on the floor, I can do that. Here is one of the hinges. You just kind of release it here, and you can raise to the height of your stock, right? Both sides have these little stops that are set from the factory to align the the bracket and the back bracket. The aluminum extrusion is on all four sides of the table. Let's take a look at the back here. So at the back of the table here, you've got the hinge. As you can see, folds down. And over here on the bottom, you can see how it comes down. Yeah, it comes down into this right there. There's a little tooth that sticks up, and it just kind of falls right on there, and minimal play left to right or whatever. Going back around to the back side, you can see the actual back bracket, which it has the functionality. You pull it out to raise or lower to fit your stock. Adjustments here to use the protractor functionality. If you're going to use the protractor functionality, you have to remove this here so that you can actually move the fence. This helps keep the fence square and in position. This piece here is plastic. Down here is metal, and there's like this navy blue, that's plastic. The knobs here. This bracket here that you can see, let me see if I can get that in focus here. This bracket is actually plastic. I was surprised about that. So we'll see how long it holds up. Now, in a previous video, I was talking about how I was going to actually get I was considering getting a dashboard set up to hook on this side of my MFT and to get this same functionality. And I'll set up the camera here in just a bit and show you what I mean by the difference of how to set up stock on this MFT here as opposed to this one here, as far as how fast it is. So let me go ahead and get the camera set up on the tripod so I can kind of give you a demonstration of that. Okay, so now what we have here, I have two Makita rails. One of them has dogs on the bottom, bench dogs, and those bench dogs look like this. They actually have kind of like a T-nut on the end so that they actually slide in the channel on the bottom of the track, and you just twist them to secure them in place. So that's what I have on this rail here. So I'm just going to kind of demonstrate the difference as far as in using this rail. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the holes here. First I have to loosen it to get it lined up, and then put it in, right? So it's flush with the table, it's flat, and so if I'm going to pick this up, right, as long as it's loose, well, even now, you see, I kind of have to finagle it to get it to come up out of the table. And so you see how difficult that was for me to get off. Now imagine having to do that with every single cut. And obviously that's flat on the table, but what I found is you have to kind of keep both dogs kind of loose to get it out easier. But the problem with that, when I go to put it back in here, is you have a lot of shift and shimmy here, so that means you're not going to have as accurate of a cut. Now when I tighten this down on both sides, so I got it on this side, let me go around on the other side. And I tighten that down, what that does is it takes all the play out. But watch me try to take it off now. So I got it off, but basically that's a bit much in my opinion to have to do every single time you're actually making a cut. Now there is an alternative to that, which happens to be these UJK rail clips. And essentially what these do is there's a channel here on the top of the rail, and you actually slide these in to that channel like so. And then you take some bench dogs and you put them in place. Let's see, I'll have to put it this here, because if I put it too far back, it's going to actually bump into my fence. So I'm going to put it over here and here. Now the benefit to this is it's so much easier to get on and off. So I actually pull the fence out like this, and then I just flatten it, and then I make my cut. And there's no play in that, and that's pretty easy, right? Now over time, these little clips could actually get bent out of place. That's one, which would, you know, alter your cut. The other thing is, on this particular bench, I actually have two cut lines on this far right. The reason why I have two cut lines is because when you introduce the bench dog with these clips, it actually changes your cut line. So let me see if I can actually, so you tilt the rail up and lift it off, and then obviously you have to put the rail somewhere after you finish making your cut. So let me try to go over one more and see if this works. You slide it on, so in that way it's a lot easier. All right, so on my fence, right, at this point, and I'll kind of swing the camera around so you can see it. At this point, I'm actually going to cut into my rail under the under rail on my fence. So this location is not going to work. So then when I go one location over, which is where I was before, my cut line is extended by about, I'll say about 3 inches past my normal cut line when I am using this other method, which I'll set up right over here, which is just like this. Actually, go back. Here. Yeah, see, I'm even having problems just getting it in because you need that little bit of play. Alright. So, let me bring the camera around so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So before, as I said, it's right here. When I actually move the fence over one hole, which would be right here, the actual fence moves all the way back to cutting this part of my guide rail off, right? So I can just demonstrate that one more time. So I lift the fence up and off, which is really easy. As I said, you have to have somewhere to put the rail when you take it off. Cross here, you grab the fence, slide it on, slide it on, and then as I put it down, there you go. So my cut line runs the risk of going through my rail, right? Because, and then you also see where it doesn't, so normally my fence is kind of next to this area of the fence, and this part is under the rail. So if I had a longer rail, it wouldn't even work here. So it would actually have to be over, which moves my cut line over a bit, which isn't major, but then you think about it, you know, I only have from here to the edge of the board as my cutoff, right? Over here, on my other setup here, this is what I was conventionally using, which, as I said, I'm using these rail dogs with the T-nut on the bottom that you just kind of unscrew and screw and slide it in the bottom T-track. Now, with that one, you know, you see my cut line, that's the cut line that I'm always using, right? Now, but the problem is getting the rail out is just a little bit of a headache. Now, by comparison, let's look at option 3, which is the reason why I purchased the Festool MFT. Let's kind of zoom out here and kind of get that in frame a bit. All right, so with the Festool MFT, it's just a simple lower, put my piece in, do my cut, lift it up. There's a place for the rail to sit. I can grab my next piece of stock, pull it down, cut. So for smaller pieces, for sure, for smaller repetitive cuts, I think that this is a better solution than, you know, my home built MFT. Now, as I said, I could have added add the dashboard feature to my large MFT, and the only reason why I did not do that is because when I looked to order the dashboard setup, which I want to say is about $250, they were basically sold out until March, and I didn't want to wait that long. And this was probably about a month ago when I considered that, because I've had this table now, I want to say close to a month. I bought it and it was just kind of to the side because I was doing the lighting and doing other things here in the shop. So yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I bought the Festool MFT3. And then also too, if I ever move from this location, this monster MFT is more than likely going to have to be broken down, and you know, something is going to happen with it. Whereas with this table, it is portable and I can take it to wherever my next location is and do what I need to do. Now, even though this is portable, from what I can see here, you've got the overhang of the fence over here, overhang on the back. All of this equipment has to be taken off every time you move this table, or else you're going to run the risk of damaging, you know, the table, which will obviously knock it out of square and just kind of tear your stuff up. So what I used was this another use for this TSO multifunctional triangle was, you know, it's got these actual additions that you can add on. It comes with the kit. Doesn't come with the triangle by itself, but if you buy the kit, then it comes together to go in here and square this up. So you see there's no play as I try to wiggle that back and forth, because I use this triangle, which is highly accurate, to square up my MFT, right? So yeah, I mean, that's the squaring process that I use for the table. The reason why I bought it, I've already mentioned. Now, me purchasing this table, I've seen a lot of people that have moved on from the Festool MFT, and some of them have upgraded to the dashboard setup. Some of them have gone to the more, you know, just like a benchdogs.co.uk fence, or maybe the UJK fence, and then just using the dogs as I displayed there. For me, as I said, I'm trying to become a little bit more efficient. Like I feel like I'm not able to get to my my projects because I'm always just getting set up, and before I know it, it's Monday again and I'm back to work for the work week. So this right here is going to help out along with other additions. So anyways, thanks for taking time to hear me ramble in this video. I'm going to wrap this video up, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Take care.